we have the head coach of the Georgia Bulldogs, Kirby Smart, joining us on the set. Coach, you mentioned that Coach Saban is texting now, but you said you weren't totally sure if it was actually him. So let's set the record straight. Is that you texting?
No, he can tell it's me. There's no punctuation. You just got to kind of go through the reading of it.
No, it's the emojis. It's the thumbs up. And Lane and I have a side action thread. Every time he responds, we get to share it with each other that we're so excited.
Screenshot it.
It's like the first text you ever got in your life when you get one from Coach Saban.
Do the text start with I?
Yeah.
No.
It was really cool, though, how you thanked Coach Saban for everything that he's done for you in your career. And I wondered, Coach, if you had any response to that as you listened to him in front of all these media give you a lot of credit.
Well, he's the best assistant coach we ever had, on defense especially, and seeing the big picture of the game. And, Sark was probably one of the better offensive guys, but, Lane, all these guys did a great job for us. And I appreciate that. People always say you hate to see these guys leave. No, I'm happy for them to get an opportunity. Our players are happy. Our players were happy when Kirby had the opportunity to go to Georgia because he did such a great job of helping them develop them, and he did a great job for us. That's their motivation, so you're happy to see it happen for him, and he's done a great job at Georgia.
That action thread is going to go crazy now because he just did Kirby, Sark, Lane. That was the ranking.
There'll only be one person upset about that.
We know who it is.
He'll be in his feelings, I'm sure.
Go ahead, Coach. You got questions for him?
Well, the one thing, I talked about a little bit earlier was the fact that, people always killed us in recruiting because we had good players and you couldn't play there early. But yet we probably have more players play early because our roster turns over quicker. So I was wondering, who do you think on your team this year is a young player who really hasn't done that much is going to make the greatest impact on your team this year?
Man, that's hard to say because it's speculation, but we got a couple kids that I think are going to be able to help us out. At the safety position, we're just not very deep. We've lost and had to dismiss David Daniels, so there's an opportunity there for somebody to step in and play. I think KJ Bolden has a chance to really help us out. He's athletic, he's intelligent, he comes from a really good high school program. He got 15 practices in spring, and he approaches every practice like a veteran. So, where he is right now is ahead of probably where Malachi was at that time. And Malachi was able to play as a freshman. So, I'm excited about what KJ is going to do. Sokovie White is a guy who's come in and helped us at receiver and going to provide some depth. But those young players, they're going to play now more than they ever have because of the physicality of our league and the number of games. So, who can get those guys up to speed fast enough is going to be critical.
Yeah, Coach, one of the things that happens when you're successful is you lose coaches. Obviously, this situation here is because of that. You have your own coaching tree that has been started. And you mentioned up there the fact that you hadn't lost 4 coaches before. You actually did.
2022, right?
2022. You won a national championship. So as you have those vacancies, I'm not asking you to predict that, but as you have those vacancies, what are some of the things, the traits that you look for in going and searching for coaches and bringing in new assistants? What are some things that even you learned from Coach Saban and that you've implemented for yourself? When you have a vacancy, what do you look for in bringing in assistant coaches?
Well, you get good at it, experiencing, I'll say that. And the people around you, getting information is really key. You have to call and talk to people. Some coaches don't like to call and talk to people. I mean, I want to call and hear what they were like to work with. I've usually recruited against them, so I know something about that area. And I want somebody that's been in tough environments because our environment's very demanding, and I want people that are willing to do that. What kind of family do they have? What do they bring to the table in terms of affecting our players? And there's a lot of great coaches out there. You want to find the right fit, and I'm a lot more worried about the fit than I am anything else.
So this is really 4 with an asterisk because Will's still there.
That's right.
He just changed seats.
And
Will is a heck of a coach too.
Right.
So.
And to have him in the room gives confidence. And the 2022 reference for me was Mike Bobo was actually in the room and went to the coordinator's seat, and he had been with Munkin. So I don't look at it like we lost 4 because Mike was there helping Todd, and he got to move to that seat. It's really critical, and I learned that from Coach, that if you have people in your organization that you can grow or develop, they're going to be ready to be great coaches. He did it with Billy Napier. Billy did an incredible job. I saw Billy take every note as an analyst, and then he grew into the position coach and now into a great head coach.
So here's what messed me up. is I learned this from Belichick, have all these, sort of analysts and GAs and people that you develop so someday you can hire them back.
Right.
All right, but then when you got a head coaching job and all these guys start to get head coaching jobs, like you hired Dan Lanning before I got hired.
Do y'all need to air something out right here?
No, because Dan went on and worked after that. Dan did a great job at Memphis and did some other things. He got that opportunity from coach and got kind of on the radar. But it was those relationships. This is the same thing that's happened to me. They take people within your organization and they kind of move them up and promote them, and you got to be happy for them when they do those things. It just makes it more difficult to keep winning at your own place.
Yeah. I can't skip over the fact that, Coach got you in the SEC championship, so I noticed at the podium there you took your first little dig that you can still get in without a credential.
Well, I saw the guy. I was flying in yesterday, and I saw on my phone, I was like, they said this guy that stopped him was like a 4-star recruit. I was like, he must have had a personal vendetta against Coach because he didn't recruit him or something. So then I'm walking in, and I see him, and I'm like, I don't have my credential. And so Leland, our sports information guy, flashes it. So I got in without a credential, but Leland had the credential.
We didn't know if it was one of those situations where it was like you were taking the crown and just like putting it on your head or something. We didn't know.
I don't need a credential.
The best is Sankey. Sankey whispers to me, he goes, hey, tell Nick you got in without a credential.
Yeah, of course. Stirring it up.
We've never had more conversation around a lanyard around somebody's neck than we have this week after Coach was denied access. And, well, actually, he just went up to his room and followed the rules, and everything was great. I'm curious, there's so many things that you could look at with your schedule, and there's so many ways that you're going to go about this. What is your actual message to this team? Because you're going to be the top team in the SEC. You may be ranked #1 overall going into the season, and there's going to be a lot of outside noise. How do you maintain focus with your players?
Just like we do every year. I mean, attention to detail, not letting anything slack. We're going to go attack our off-season, well, not our off-season, but our camp the same way we always have. We're going to be really physical, but it's going to be tougher. And I want them to know that. I'm going to show them the playoff. The first meeting we have, I will show them the playoff and how it works.
And not be focused on all these external factors. So your team develops and plays better and better and better as the season goes on, which I think you've done an outstanding job of. But, man, I'm telling you, it's getting harder and harder and harder to get guys not to be affected by what other people think. What they read on the internet and all that kind of stuff. And I think the better job that you can do with that and get them to stay focused on what's in front of them, the better chance you're going to have to improve as a team.
I agree with that. And I think finding ways to get your coaches to put the best players in the best situations early, because you got to foresee a kid playing in the playoff game the first week of the season. He might not be ready there, but he's going to be ready then, and you got to buy into him and learn that from the best.
I got to ask you about your quarterback. I got on here and said a lot of kind things about him, and I love watching him on tape. But he was just a first-year starter last year, which is crazy to think. As a coach, you're trained and ingrained to be critical. What areas can he take another step in this year, in year 2, as a starting quarterback for you?
We've talked about it with him, showing emotion and getting excited for the players. He's such a calm, cool, collected guy.
Which you like for a lot of the game.
The composure in the Auburn game was incredible. But for him, Bobo makes points. He's like, I need to see you run down there and celebrate with that guy.
Yeah.
I need to see you embrace those guys. And he's taken that in the spring and really done that. And that's it's not comfortable for him. That's just not who he is. But they need to see that fire and grit sometimes too. And I love that about him.
That's cool.
Yeah, talk about this defense a bit, Coach.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't want to step on your toes.
No, I was just going to say that one of the things that Kirby mentioned, I think, is critical, especially in this day and age with young players. And it comes from our experience in the NFL when you got to make a decision who you're going to cut on your team. And you got a rookie who's not ready, and you got a veteran who this guy's going to be better than in 8 weeks. Who do you choose to coach and who do you choose to have on your team? And doing that is especially critical, I think, in this day and age of football where depth is going to be so important down the road for your team.
Give me something.